Everyone, please be seated. Just a reminder to silence your phones if you haven't already. Benchmark families, friends, faculty members, members of the Benchmark Board of Trustees, alumni, those younger Benchmark students and friends streaming in online from, I think, 7 different countries today. And most importantly, our graduating class of 2021. Greetings from a very hot, sunny, but in-person graduation. This is a wonderful day for 28 wonderful people. Congratulations. I do feel compelled to start with the obvious. It has been an incredibly challenging year. But we made it through without any COVID spread. We were open for in-person instruction from day one. Never had to close. A truly remarkable accomplishment when you think about it. And so the first of many congratulations due to our graduating class today. Congrats on making it through a year unlike any other. A year no one wanted, a year no one could predict, a year of suboptimal circumstances, to say the least, that certainly foiled many eighth grade plans and traditions, I'm sure. And yet, it's a year that you stood your ground against it with real courage and true grace. You did not let the circumstances take your joy, your friendships, your gratitude, or your final experience as leaders on this campus. You stood out to all of us as beacons of adaptability. And here we are right now because of each of you. We showed up every single day today because of you. We found hope during a dark year by getting to work with each one of you every single day. So on behalf of the faculty and the staff, we thank each one of you graduates. And to our faculty and staff, when the majority of schools were reverting back to online practices in the fall, and teachers all over the country were arguing over whether or not they should even return to school in the fall, you gave nearly your entire summer, a time under the best of circumstances is needed for rest and rejuvenation. And you showed up day after day in June and July and August to make sure that we were ready to roll in September. And I know that not every teacher here feels like they could have done a better job given the circumstances that they were asked to teach under this year. And I know the standards that each one of you hold yourselves to and the commitment to these kids that you eat, sleep, and breathe. But when you doubt your effectiveness for even 1 minute, I urge you to look into these 28 faces. These incredible, incredible human beings. Listen to their stories, their memories, their reflections on their growth this year that I had the privilege of listening to just this week. And do not doubt for a second how much difference you have made in their lives this year. And that's not to say it was easy. At times it was downright difficult and nearly impossible. But you never stopped showing up. And we all need to thank you. Sorry, I was looking over here. There are faculty sitting out here too. And there's one last group we need to thank today. Graduates, it's those individuals sitting right behind you. The balancing of family lives turned upside down, the constant adherence to our school's repeated requests to restrict travel, the tedium of daily health screenings, the flexibility and grace when it came to needing to quarantine simply out of an abundance of caution, the dance of who was on what computer in what room at what time for a meeting in what class or what job, multiple kids in multiple environments, online and not. It has all been in service to you. There were sacrifices by everyone behind you and so many more who love you to get you to this point today. And your families are chief among them. So graduates, please stand up for a moment, turn around, and thank your families for getting you to this point this year. That'll all give you a chance to see where they are for later too. But it does take a village. So anyone who's gotten to know me during this pandemic year could tell you that I am a baseball lover through and through. It runs in my family. And like any good fan or has-been baseball player, there are superstitions to watch out for everywhere, literally everywhere. And especially growing up as a Red Sox fan, it could be Nomar Garciaparra's pre-at-bat routine. Wade Boggs, for those of you that don't know, he played in the 80s, ate chicken before every single game. And of course, the curse of the Bambino, which consumed psyches in New England for 86 years. In fact, you weren't a real fan if you didn't believe in a good jinx like that one. Even the word jinx's entrance into the American vernacular can be traced back to slang from baseball about 100 years ago, right around the time Babe Ruth was sold to the Yankees. So as a leadership team here can tell you, I have uttered the words, "Don't jinx it," more times than I can count this year. I think probably at least a dozen just yesterday alone. I've tried hard to be careful to celebrate and share the small victories with everyone throughout the year without jinxing anything. Still, we have accomplished a lot in a year where we very easily could have expected very little. Some of those small victories this year include, as I've mentioned before, we opened the school's doors in day one for in-person instruction and never had to shut down. We surpassed our enrollment projections when people realized this summer that Benchmark was once again going to lead the way in how to educate kids despite great unknowns. We were able to keep every person that wanted a job to work with these kids and give them a raise, every penny of which they deserve. We launched a strategic planning process, which will conclude in October and will set an exciting trajectory for the next several years. We even found time to squeeze in the spring the first ever facilities master plan that will revitalize our campus over the next decade. While it's still in its embryonic stage, we are vetting firms to help us do this work, and it will provide the necessary resources for the teachers to deliver on our promise to families in the future and usher in change that properly reflects the preeminence of our program here at Benchmark. And of course, we honored our 50th anniversary and have made plans to celebrate properly together on May 14th next year at a gala on campus that will surely be the talk of the town. So mark your calendars now. Yet those are the small victories that I felt safe to mention at times this year. Certainly small compared to what we sit here today to celebrate. Something I was careful to declare victory on. It's what we've been working for all year. A feat among our graduates that will never be forgotten. So even I have to concede in this moment, without fear of a jinx anymore, complete and utter victory for each one of you 28 graduates today. You did it. Congratulations. So I will conclude my address to you today with one simple message. You have the tools, the strategies, the self-knowledge to excel at anything you put your mind to. I have little doubt about that. I've witnessed it, and I'm certain your teachers have prepared you for it. I do believe, however, that the path to truly fulfilling life ahead of you requires two additional ingredients: courage and gratitude. You've shown an abundance of both this year, no doubt. The world's circumstances have demanded it of you. You've shown the courage to tackle the unexpected, to simply be braver when asking questions behind a mask or during a Zoom meeting, to conquer a previously unimaginable task, to speak out against the inexplicable suffering and injustices that still plague our society. I want you to lean into that courage. Mark Twain, August Wilson, Maya Angelou, many more authors, playwrights, poets, all have written extensively about the importance of courage in one's life. They've been quoted time and again about their belief in its importance. We all know what the lion was searching for in The Wizard of Oz. Harper Lee, who I know you all know because you read To Kill a Mockingbird this year, gave Atticus Finch some really great lines about courage. But my favorite quote is perhaps the simplest one, and it comes from books or pop culture, depending upon whether you read or watched the show. Game of Thrones. Ned Stark, speaking to his son Bran. Bran asks him, "Can a man still be brave if he is afraid?" You know what Ned said? That is the only time a man can be brave. You have learned how to stare down fear and the unknown and not blink. It's why you're sitting here right now, 15 months into this pandemic. Don't forget for a second that you are capable of more than sometimes you believe you are. Your courage has been on display all year, and it is an inspiration to every single one of us. And lastly, gratitude. Experience, show, share gratitude as often as you can. Thank your parents for sacrificing so much to make this Benchmark experience possible for you. Thank your teachers for their unwavering belief in your full potential. Thank each other for being there to pick you up when you needed it, or to truly celebrate a joyful moment. But it lives in more than simple thank yous and deeds. Gratitude comes in many forms. Some express it by giving back or helping others. Gratitude has brought alums back to serve on our board, to build a building, or speak to all of you at this very event that you will hear from a couple of in a few minutes. Still, gratitude is best described as a state of mind. You also all read Night by Elie Wiesel this year, and he has a quote I will leave you with that offers a roadmap for your gratitude as a state of being into your adult lives. Wiesel says, "For me, every hour is grace, and I feel gratitude in my heart each time I can look at his or her smile." It's just that simple, folks. And I hope you are all smiling behind those masks. You should be proud of where you are at this moment. We are grateful to share in it with you. Congratulations, class of 2021.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ben Rogers, and I'm the chair of the Board of Trustees. Chris asked me to make a 55-minute speech for all of you, and I have shortened it to 53 minutes, so get comfortable. But actually, I wanted just to recognize the fellow trustees with me here. We have Carly Bromley, Wendy Chase, Greg Coleman, Betsy Cunicelli, Terry Willie LeBreton, and also two of particular importance with us that are parents of current graduates, Kristen Yerger and Jim Viner. So I wanted to thank all of them for being here this morning. Thank you. When graduates, when you arrived at Benchmark, it's likely that you hadn't found success in a classroom quite yet. When I was a student here at Benchmark, I was much the same. I was frustrated. I couldn't read. I found myself thinking I was a failure when I arrived. I failed often. I failed when I was here. I found some success, but I've also had setbacks at work after my education was over. But what I didn't realize was those failures brought me to Benchmark. And without Benchmark, I wouldn't have had the ability or the understanding to turn those failures into success. So graduates, long after you leave here, I want you to remember what you learned here at Benchmark so that you can turn your setbacks into your next triumph. Congratulations, one and all.
Okay, once a class, always a class. Welcome. And thank you, Jesse and Jackie, for that wonderful recap of the year. We're excited to have all of you here with us today. And we're particularly pleased to have with us our distinguished alumnus for this year, Jonathan Room. John currently lives in Los Angeles, California, where he serves as the co-founder and chief operating officer of RoundRobin.com, a venture-backed privacy software company. John started at Benchmark in second grade and attended for 8 years, graduating in 2008. John then attended Radnor High School until 2012, when he moved cross-country to attend the University of California. While there, he served as a liaison, helping the university better understand students who learn differently. He graduated USC magna cum laude with a degree in international business in 2016. John has worked as a product manager and on some of the world's most popular apps, such as Amazon and Tinder. In 2001, John co-founded RoundRobin.com, a company that protects people's identity from both hackers and big tech companies. Round Robin is funded by Y Combinator, Silicon Valley's top startup accelerator, which has helped launch companies such as Airbnb, DoorDash, and Reddit. When John got here in second grade, we all knew as he went through his years at Benchmark that he was going to do great things. I can remember his mom, Lisa, telling us that before he came to Benchmark, every day he would be curled up under the kitchen table crying about homework. And so from that very frustrated young man to the beast in Beauty and the Beast in his final year here, and all the things that he did in between, John has paved the way to greatness, and at the same time has taught us all things about dealing with students who learn differently. We've learned from him as much as he learned from us. So please join me in welcoming Jonathan Room, Distinguished Alumnus for 2021.
Thank you for leaving out difficult student from that description. No, really, when Dr. McDonald and Dr. Gensimer emailed me, I actually thought I was in trouble. I thought I was being called down to Dr. Lemish's office again. That trauma is still there, so that lasts a long time. But no, it actually said, hey, we'd like you to be our distinguished graduate this year and speak at graduation. So what did I do? I immediately called. I said, Mom, they want me to be the distinguished graduate this year. And they were like, what? What? As soon as I got off the phone, I knew I had my task. I had to figure out, what do I say to a group of Benchmark graduates who are graduating in the middle of a global pandemic? So like any Benchmark student with an important assignment, I started by procrastinating. So I sat and I thought back to when I was sitting in your seats, and how was I feeling? Honestly, I was very scared of what was to come next. The only thing I knew about Radnor High School came from my friend who graduated Benchmark a year before me. His name was AJ. He told me that all the Radnor kids would beat up the Benchmark kids on the first day of school. That actually wasn't true. I did end up surviving Radnor. After high school, I moved to Los Angeles, where I graduated from the University of Southern California with honors. I went on to work at major technology companies like Amazon before co-founding my own software startup. So today, I thought I'd tell you some stories of how I came to be from one of the most difficult young students. You can ask Mrs. Scott or Mrs. North or pretty much anyone who worked here before 2008, to where I am today. And I want to let you know the single most important thing that I've learned along the way. Just one. You're probably wondering, what's the one thing? And attention spans are short here, so I'll let you know right off the bat. The one thing is a quote. To be great is to be misunderstood. That's from Ralph Waldo Emerson, for those of you taking notes. About half of you, I think, here are nodding your head. They're like, oh yeah, okay. Half of you are like, what is this guy talking about? Just hear me out. Everyone has the ability to be normal, and everyone has the ability to be great. Normal people are driven by fear of what other people think of them. So they're constantly on guard not to venture outside the box of normal. They feel fear of being labeled weird or being labeled different. I've learned the one thing is that being great means advocating for your own path, regardless of how you're perceived. I, like most of you graduating today, never had the opportunity to be normal. I went to a normal school for the first grade, and I remember all the kids finishing their assignments quietly at their desk and going up to the teacher one by one, handing it in. I was still sitting at my desk rounding the second letter in my name, which is an O, of my 8-letter name. I soon shortened my name to John. It's only 3 letters now, which is much quicker. And I remember the teacher asking me why I hadn't finished. And I said, well, I don't know. I never got the chance to explain to her that the poster attached to the ceiling would actually spin counterclockwise when the heat was on, and then clockwise when the air conditioner went on. But she never got the chance to understand that I was a little bit misunderstood. So like all of you, my parents decided to take me down a different path. The path was Benchmark, and I learned a lot at Benchmark. Trust me, 8 years is a long time. The 2 most important things they teach you at Benchmark, and the 2 most important things that you should remember as you leave today, go on to summer, go on to high school, and beyond, is it's actually a 2-part question. You've probably remembered it. You've heard it 1,000 times. What are your strengths and what are your weaknesses? From second grade to, in Mrs. Kress's class, all the way up to 8th grade in Dr. McDonald's, always the same question. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? It almost became a joke between my friends and I. We would be like, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Right? It sounds like so simple. But I guarantee you, if you remember your strengths and your weaknesses, you'll be better off than 99% of adults. So if you take anything from your experience at Benchmark, it should be, what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses? My first year of high school, I went to the guidance counselor to pick my classes. He said, so you went to Benchmark. You must not be very good at writing. I said, no, my strength is writing and I'm weak in math. Can you put me in the lowest math class and the highest writing class? He said, no, that's silly. Students are either at the high math level, at the high level or the low level. I said, no, this is what I need. He said, no, we don't do that. I said, well, I do that. We had to go all the way up to the principal, who also didn't understand. And after a long meeting, the principal finally said, okay, give it a shot. Like, let's see what happens. Again, to be great is to be misunderstood. So the next day I went into the highest level English class, and what happened to me might also happen to you on one of your first days in high school. A girl turned to me mockingly in front of everyone and said, what are you doing here? Aren't you reading audiobooks? I said, yeah, well, I'm not that good at reading, but I'm great at writing. And from that day on, I thought I took it upon myself to help her understand a little bit. Every time we would get back an assignment, I would make sure to sit next to her and show her that I always got the higher grade. Remember, to be great is to be misunderstood. But whenever you move to a new school or a new city or get a new job, people aren't going to understand your strengths and weaknesses. By default, they're going to put you in the box normal, the box difficult reader, or the can't pay attention box. I'm in that box because they don't understand what makes each of you so great. So as you gain steam and as you gain some success, you might be misunderstood in another way. When I went to college, the University of Southern California couldn't understand that I had learning differences. They looked at my GPA and they said, look, you're doing great in all these classes. Why do you need double time for tests? They thought I was trying to gain the upper hand. It actually took 3 meetings with the administration, an education lawyer, and my mother flying across the country to finally provide me my accommodations. 4 years later, I graduated that school with honors, having earned a scholarship for writing. Remember, to be great is to be misunderstood. Okay, so my last story actually comes from this week. I was boarding the plane from Los Angeles to get on the flight here. I was about to speak graduation. I had like a fancy new job. I was living in California. Like, things are great. Things are going great. So I walk up to the TSA agent, hand them my ID and my boarding pass. And she looks at me and she said, "Are you Janota?" And I looked at her and said, "No." She says, "Well, that's what you wrote on your boarding ticket." I misspelled my name on my own ticket. So I went back to the ticket counter and I was laughing. I was like, look, I spelled my name wrong. Isn't that funny? And the woman behind the counter didn't find it like very funny. She thought I was trying to like get on the flight. It was like on a no-fly list or something. She thought I was trying to pull something. So finally, we went back and forth. And after a couple of minutes, she threw up her hands and said, I can change your ticket, but I had to delete your old one. And the only thing left is like this first class seat. So I have to upgrade you. And I said, okay, that's fine. And then I sat in my first class seat all the way to Philadelphia. So what did I learn from Benchmark? What did I learn from my high school guidance counselor, that girl that sat next to me next to class, university administration, and even that one TSA agent? To be great is to be misunderstood. So to the Benchmark class of 2021, go out there, be great, even if that means being a little misunderstood. Thank you.
How about one more round of applause for Mr. Gold? Thank you. That was really terrific. There's a lot of lessons in there, and I think a good one is one day, hopefully many of you will be up here as distinguished alums too. A remarkable young man, and we're grateful he was willing to take that cross-country flight, although seemingly in luxurious conditions, to get here. Benchmark did not fit that bill, I told you that. But thank you again. What a wonderful. We now have a video class 2021 on a mission. Please enjoy.
it is now the time where we get to recognize each individual awesome graduate for this year. Graduates, as you come up, you are free to take off your mask if you wish, but you are also free to keep it on if you would prefer. All right. Peter Bard. Andrew Blum. Declan David Cannon. Nicolina Carcello. Francis Joseph Dunn. To your left. Reese Dyson. Sophia Elgar. Audrey M. Gelinas. Lilith Renee Harper. Sydney A. Henderson. All this side is to your left. Judith Catherine Horn. Henry Jones. They should be to the... Abdul Dowda Joseph Kamara. Rohan Kapoor. Sophia Kowalski. Quinn Lanchoni. Mark Angelo Matika. Luca Mazzola. Hayden Elizabeth Barrett McCrae. Charles Noble. Jai Malia Rhodes. Brian Schwartzman. Gabrielle Bridget Scarrato. Mira Snyder. William E. Viner. Evan Whitehouse. Matthew Yerger. Michael Ziegler. Let's have one more round of applause for the unbroken, stupendous, awesome class of 2021.
First of all, for this next portion of our program, we would like to invite any alums who are in the audience to come up to the front of the stage and get a rose. So anybody who graduated, it doesn't matter how long ago, come on up. Okay, while we're taking their picture, we would like to invite families, as you're leaving today, to take the yard sign with you. Stay here, you're not going anywhere. To take the pictures that are along the walkway home with you. So the yard signs with the pictures. Okay, so to the graduates, all of you in the class of 2021, graduation is a time of celebration. It's a time of planning for the future and reflecting on the past. You've spent the last month thinking about what you've accomplished here at Benchmark School as you prepared your final portfolio, and you have much about which you can be proud. You've grown as learners, as individuals, and as members of the community. You're a group of students who will be missed, but we are confident that you're ready to move on to the next chapter in your journey. Your growth as learners and individuals has been helped by many people, by teachers, mentors, members of the Child and Family Support Services staff, peers, and other members of our community. I know Chris did this earlier, but faculty and staff members, please stand so our graduates can thank you for your contributions to their journey. However, your biggest supporters have been your parents. They've contributed to your success by bringing you to Benchmark School, by working with you through the highs and lows of your quest to understand yourselves as learners, thinkers, and problem solvers, through those times when you were misunderstood. All of that has been a gift to you. So parents of the class of 2021, please stand and remain standing so we can recognize your contribution to your graduate success. So stay standing because we have something for you. Graduates and alums at the front of the stage today, the pink rose that you have been given symbolizes love, gratitude, and appreciation. It's a way to say thank you to your parents for getting you to Benchmark School, for standing by you through your challenges and successes. So today we want you, who are now the class of 2021, members of our Alumni Association and our other alums, to take the flower you've been given and present it to your parents and thank them for helping you to get to this important day in your life, and then return to your seats.
Do we have everyone back yet? Oh, Nikki. Okay, so before we recess, I have a couple things. One, I want to introduce our new-ish school song that Ms. Vikak, our head of our music department, and a group of students and faculty worked on last year. Some of you may have seen and heard it already, but it was released during our pandemic. So we have a short video of our school song now. You do not need to sing along, just appreciate the lyrics. And then when we're done, we have one final announcement.
Benchmark, we're learners and friends. We thrive and change from first through eighth. Our strong community brings hope and unity. All hail the blue and the green. Oh, Benchmark, we thank you for supporting our hopes and dreams, for giving us a bright future. We are proud to call Benchmark our school. At Benchmark, we're learners and friends. We thrive and change from first through eighth. Our strong community brings hope and unity. All hail the blue and the green. Oh, Benchmark, we thank you for supporting our hopes and dreams, for giving us a bright future. We are proud to call Benchmark our school.
Just a couple housekeeping items before we send you on your way. First, please help yourself to the cookies and the water in the corners. Otherwise, I'm going to have to eat all of them. That will not be good for my summer. I do want to thank, there were a legion of volunteers that went into making this event possible today. And so I want to thank every single one of them, and a couple particular by name. Our front office staff, Steph, Faith, and Sarah, who did a terrific job organizing everything. Thank you. And like I said, there were legions of volunteers, and there's one legion that runs very deep here, and that is our BPA, who is always stepping up, in this year in particular, to help us do these kinds of things. And hopefully we can do a lot more in-person stuff next year. But to Kristen, Missy, Maggie, and the entire BPA, thank you so much for helping put this together. So as we recess here, we have one new tradition. You'll see our faculty gathered at the back. You will recess students, graduates, as graduates of Benchmark School, and get one final congratulatory send-off from each of our faculty as you walk past them. Parents, you can meet them anywhere you like outside the tent after we recess. So thank you all. And once again, a big congratulations to the class of 2021.